Hey, welcome back. We're going to continue our journey through the Gospel of John, and we're going to stay in chapter 1 today, and we're going to start in verse 43 and go through about 43 to 50, a little bit in there. And Jesus is calling some of his early on disciples. And so this is the beginning of his ministry. He's calling some disciples, and he finds Philip, and he says to him, "Follow me." And it says in verse 44, Philip, like Andrew and Peter, was from the town of Bethsaida. And Philip found Nathanael and told him, "We have found the one Moses wrote about in the law, and about whom the prophets who also wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph." And so Philip follows Jesus. Philip goes and finds Nathanael, and he says, "We found him. We got him. This is the guy we've been looking for. We found the Messiah." And he says, "It's Jesus of Nazareth, son of Joseph." Now, a couple cool things in there. Let me just mention this because it's worth saying. The son of Joseph. Because sometimes people get funny teachings about this. I want you to hear that nobody thought Jesus was born of a scandalous unmarried woman named Mary. He was the son of Joseph and Mary. And even though we know of the virgin birth, they didn't. Even though we know that she was pregnant before they got married, the people there didn't. Nobody ever thought he was an quote, illegitimate child. They always thought of him as the son of Joseph and Mary. So that's just a little aside for you to have. So they said, "We found him. He's Jesus of Nazareth, son of Joseph." Now watch this. Philip and Nathanael now are talking about this, and Nathanael I love what he says here. He says, Philip says, "Jesus of Nazareth." He says, "Nazareth? What? Nazareth? Can anything good come from there?" He says, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" I love that. So he immediately disqualified Jesus because of where Jesus was from. Wow. I want you to let that sink in for a little bit. Philip said, "We found the Messiah." And Nathanael says, "Oh, where's he from?" "Nazareth." Nathanael says, "Nope. Nothing good can come from Nazareth." End of story. Wow. Of course, Philip says, "Hey, come and see." I'll read the rest, but then I want to go back to Nazareth. When Jesus saw Nathanael approaching, Jesus said of him, "Here truly is an Israelite in whom there is no deceit." Nathanael says, "How do you know me?" Jesus says, "I saw you while you were still under the fig tree before Philip called you." Nathanael declared, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." And Jesus says, "You believe because I told you I saw you under the fig tree. You will see greater things than that. Very truly I tell you, you will see the heavens open up and angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man." Jesus called Nathanael that day, and he cut to his heart. Nathanael became a believer and a follower, and Nathanael gave his entire life to following Jesus. Super cool stuff. And he goes on to have, if we knew the life history over the next 40 years of Nathanael, we would be like, wow, look at all the stuff that happened. But I want you to see it all started with Nathanael saying, "This guy can't be anything because he comes from Nazareth." Some of you, and I'm one of them, come from a town that people don't think well of. Some of you, depending on what country you're in, what village you're in, what economic status you're in, what town you're from, some of you immediately think that God can't do anything through you because of where you're from. Wow. Such a lie of the enemy. Such a lie of the enemy. Maybe you say, "Well, I'm from poverty." How could God use me? Or, I don't speak English. How could God use me? Or, I'm from an area where nobody succeeds. How could God use me? Whatever it is, wherever you're from the outcast town, the outcast tribe, the outcast village, whatever you're from, the outcast family. You've had a rough past. Maybe your parents were lousy. I don't know. But there are things in your past that you think immediately disqualify you from the things in the future. I want you to hear that something good can come out of Nazareth. Not only something good can, something good did. Dare we say the greatest thing ever came out of Nazareth. Don't be tripped up by where somebody's from. I have friends all over the place, and they're amazing people. And when I get to know their past, I'm amazed. Maybe a kid from the slums who nobody would have given anything for has become an amazing man of God. One of my real good friends in one country came right out of the slums, and he's doing incredible things. What about an orphan? Orphans certainly can't have anything good happen to them, right? How could an orphan do anything? Oh, I could tell you stories about orphans. Why? Because God doesn't call somebody based on their past. God doesn't call somebody based on their current situation or their previous situation. Can God use poor people? Hello? Yes. He uses poor people. Oh, what about the person who doesn't have a lot of formal education? Oh, really? So you think just because you don't have formal education, you can't be part of the great move of God? Give me a break. Most of the great men and the women in history have not had formal education. In fact, the disciples didn't. It says that in the book of Acts. But they spent time with Jesus, and they learned at his feet. So whatever it is, whatever is your Nazareth. I'm from a really small town. I'm from a county that is slightly depressed economically and doesn't have a real great future. I mean, it's like, boy, the only thing you can do at that place is leave. And so some people don't think they can do anything because they're from the area where I'm from. What a lie. Amazing things can happen from our area. The nations of the world can be changed through my little town. And they can be through your little town too. They can be from your place, your ministry. Maybe you pastor a small church and you think, what could ever happen here? Really? You don't think small congregations can change the world? Hello, they absolutely can. So whatever your Nazareth is, whatever it is that you think is holding you back, just remember, Jesus came out of Nazareth. And nobody thought anything good could come from Nazareth. And he says, you know what? I'll show you. And he sure did. And so too will you prove to the world that God can use you, can use your church, your town, your village, your small group. He can use you to change the world. I don't care what your past was. I don't care what your situation is or was. God can take you from there to whatever he's called you into. And don't let your Nazareth be the thing that stops you. Rather, let it be the thing that catapults you into wherever he is sending you. And prove to the enemies of the gospel that God is greater than your situation. God is greater than your Nazareth. He's going to give you faith to see something way bigger than everybody else around you sees. They all see the Nazareth around them. You see the promise ahead. Man, you got a good future. And I'm excited that we're part of it. And I'm glad that we're walking together. And I want to join you in all the things that God is doing. God bless. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. At the International Sports Academy, we have been very blessed and fortunate. We are a discipleship ministry, and we, of course, use sports, but the heart of it is to help people grow in their life and in their walk with Jesus. And so teachings like this, we have all over the world. In fact, many people watch teachings online just as you are. And so if you're encouraged by these and would like to share these with literally thousands of others, maybe they're from the slums, or they're from the bush, or they're from places where they don't have access to teachings, we're able to get in there and to encourage them in the Word of God. So if you are blessed by that and you have a heart for making disciples all over the world and getting good, solid Bible teachings, feel free to join in financially. You can go to isasports.org/give, and all of that would just really go to really blessing thousands and thousands of people. So thank you so much for your partnership, and look forward to seeing you next time we teach.